Big Boar Barbecue presents Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG-TV with Dan the Voice Duggan, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul the Statman Riker. Brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16 West Salem. Big Boar Barbecue, now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist, serving the La Crosse area since 1929. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning.
Welcome in, race fans. Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV. I'm the Voice Radio Man Dan Diker, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul Reichert. Hot out there. It's hot out there. One of our sponsors really would like to get your phone calls, wouldn't they, Bill?
They would. They would. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning. I've been telling you since we came on the air back in beginning of May, get that air conditioner checked out. If you haven't got it checked out yet and it's not blowing cold air, it's not my fault. I've been telling you. We also got to thank Big Boar Barbecue being our title sponsor yet again this year.
Might be out there next month doing our show live at the car show.
Yep, and keep the food away from Diker because we're all hungry too. Fansarena.com. Great duds we got on right here. An Epic Median Vinyl and Bag 40 wraps for the great sign you see right behind Paul.
All right, video recap. That's what we normally do on the show. We go to La Crosse, then we go to Tomah. Then we're going to talk with Chuck Trickle, Dick Trickle's brother, from the Dick Trickle Memorial Dedication. And good show lined up today. Wow. Chuck was entertaining.
Chuck was very entertaining. It's the most I've talked to Chuck since I've known him. So it's going to be a great interview. You're going to love that one here at the end of the show.
5 different late model winners now at the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway. The last one to do it, well, it was the 72 from across the pond, Jacob Gady. By lap 11, Jacob Gady pretty much took control of this race and went past Adam Degenhart. Matt Henderson kind of waited in the wings, but a late race caution with about 9 to go set things up. Nobody wanted to go to the inside of Gady for the front row. Boom.
Nobody wanted to go to the outside.
Or to the outside. There's Matt Henderson. He takes the chance. Kept pace with him for a couple of laps, but down the stretch, it was Jacob Gady topping Matt Henderson for the 5th different winner on the season. Gady, again, I always say when he qualifies, and I don't play favorites, and you folks know that, he comes to La Crosse, he qualifies fastest.
He qualifies fast. He did, a stat we threw out there when we were interviewing him on the front stretch afterwards. In 8 days, he won 3 features in 3 different tracks. So that's amazing. He's on a roll right now.
And they're big tracks. He went to Elko, then he went to Madison. Well, he went to Elko, Madison, then La Crosse. Yep. And then he wants to do the same thing again here in about 3 weeks because Elko is off for the next, month or however long that they're off. But wow, smattering of Minnesota drivers coming down and getting them done. In the sportsman feature, it was one of the best pictures I've seen. I don't know who took that. Was it Terry or Sam Niles' dad? Andy?
Which
took
one?
the picture of you and your nephew, Sam.
They gave Mary their camera, and she took the picture.
Fantastic photo, and it was quite deserving because Sam Niles is the hottest driver at the La Crosse Speedway.
Yeah, Sammy is. He had the lucky draw there in the feature, got a really good line to the front, was actually in front by lap 2, and just as I talked to him, he set a nice even pace, and he watched in his rearview mirror as Ed Ross and Justin Berg kind of battled it out for second place, and they couldn't touch him. And in the end, Sam runs away with his 3rd feature win of the season, 3rd straight feature win of the season.
Good run for Ed Ross, probably the most solid run he's had. He took a couple of swings at Sam Niles, but in the end, it was Niles picking up his 3rd consecutive win. Hobby stocks, oh man, the reckless man, John Clausen, was that close to picking up a win.
Yes, he was. The last 4 laps of that hobby stock feature were pretty exciting when the leaders got bumping and spun each other out, and then Clausen got the lead. But then he spun himself out somehow, some way, and took himself out of what could have been his first win. Another leader suffered a mechanical failure on the final lap, but after everything settled down, as you see here in the final couple laps, Jason Bolster scores the win in the hobby stock feature.
You'd have thought this was like a WWE cage match them last 4 laps.
Yeah,
they just could not decide who was going to win that bad boy.
Then there was contention. Did Jason Bolster hit Clausen? Did Clausen spin by himself? I've heard it from both sides. You'll have to watch the last 2 and determine that yourself. But John Clausen, only his 3rd ever race in the hobby stock, I think he's got things dialed in and could see a promising future on the quarter mile. 6 shooters, it was Rob Stanfield contending with Alex Leach over the last couple of laps. This thing, too, was like a WWE cage match. About halfway through, you had to pull wrestlers off of wrestlers and cars off of cars. But Stanfield, as he normally does in the hobby stock, or in the 6 shooters, ends up picking up the win. A lot of damage on a lot of these cars, and it was fun to call.
What do you call it, 100% parts off
100% off parts sale right there on the track. Hey, High School Racing Association.
Yeah, Dave, 8 cars.
Wow.
Yes, 8 cars. It was amazing, and they put on a really good show, especially at heat race. Coming down to the last lap, it was Mitchell Berg and Landon Lockington, and Lockington got the best of Berg on that one, but the feature, Berg would leave no doubt as he would get by Landon Lockington at about lap 5 and just put some distance between himself and Lockington. Lockington would look like Berg might have eased up a little bit on the last couple of laps. Lockington got a little closer. Not to be, as Berg would take the initial High School Racing Association feature of 2021.
Tough break for Kelsey Clements. She got knocked out of this one early. Same thing with Charlie Thompson. I watched the replay on his mom's Facebook page, and he took a solid T-bone shot down the back straightaway and broke some parts. So hopefully both of them are ready to go the next time the HSRA is back out again. The Joker Lap made its presence known again at the Speedway.
Yes, this was entertaining last week with the Street Stocks, and this time the 6-shooters got a chance to run this race. Turn 1 had a tire in the middle of the track, and once during the race you had to go around it on the high side. It was a great race. John Hebner took the lead, actually took his Joker Lap early on, and beat out his teammate Rob Stanfield, and actually won the Joker Lap race for the second straight week.
The thing I don't understand during that race, so why wouldn't you just want to go up and take that Joker Lap right off the bat?
And Hebner led the entire outside line. As soon as they took the green, that whole entire outside line went there, and then
except for Bernie Lucy.
Yeah, no, that was the second lap.
That was the second.
That was the second lap because Stanfield led the inside line up there, and Bernie Lucy thought he was going to put some distance between himself and everybody. It wasn't going to work out that way. So
yeah, I would be one that I would want to just get it over with right now, because you got the likes of Hebner and Chalmers and Stanfield who love that 6-cylinder class and the 6-shooters. Man, you got to get ahead of them.
And I got to bring this up to you too, because I was watching Hebner and Stanfield run them last 2 laps, and they're looking at each other to see where they're at. I thought maybe they were setting something up. I don't know. What did you guys think?
Well, you have a better advantage being right there on the track.
That's what it looked like to me, because you could, even though they got full face helmets, they had big smiles on their faces.
Coming up, a lot of activity at the Tomah Sparta Speedway. The Midwest Dash Series was there last week. And 13-year-old Carter Stark, remember that name for a long time. He's going to follow in the footsteps of Gary. He's going to follow in the footsteps of Kyle. And he made the show very interesting on TSS last week. Those highlights coming up next on KQEG TV.
Would you like a job making people happy? Well, I believe we can help you out. Big Boar Barbecue and Catering has openings for both full and part-time work. Days, nights, or weekends. Need to be free on weekends or need to be done by the time the kids get out of school? We can work with that. We need hard-working, energetic people who love to make people happy because our food makes everybody happy. Join the team at Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16, West Salem. Now that's a mouthful.
Big Boar Barbecue.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that really actually matter. Like figuring out which remote turns the TV on, or the smell in the vegetable crisper that in no way can be vegetables, or finding your phone when you leave it on vibrate. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Welcome back. 7 Rivers Racing KQEG TV, brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue with Paul and Doc. I'm the voice, Dan Dyker. Tomah Sparta Speedway had a good one last weekend, as we have every weekend so far, but the traveling series are starting to come in. And it was the Midwest Dash Series this time. The man that's been the king of the dash over the past couple of years, Phil Maloff, comes out of Manitowish Waters, Wisconsin, in that blue 32. And tell you what, things almost got a little bit different for his winning ways last Friday at Tomah Sparta Speedway. It was Maloff, Mark Dewey, Carter Stark, and the traveler Tim Finstad, pretty much all grouped together. Maloff to the outside, there he goes. Carter Stark, 13 years old. That's right, 13, broke the Midwest Dash Series record at the Tomah Sparta Speedway, a track that the only other time he's been there, 2 years ago, Bandoleros hit turn 1, and remember his lid flew off?
Oh, that was the one?
Yeah, that was the one. And he took on, Phil Maloff chased him down 2 different times. I thought he was going to reel him in as he got to his outside quarter panel. A little bit too high. He drifted up in turn 2 with 2 to go. Maloff cruises on for the win. But again, remember the name Carter Stark. Wow, he was electric.
I'm pretty sure he's going to win one here somewhere down the line this year.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Another good one with the Tomah Sparta Speedway Modifieds.
Oh, yes, the Modifieds. Darren Salo would track down Dan the Iceman Howard. He led the early going. Salo got by around halfway of the feature, and then a little contact between Dan Howard and Bill Schott with about 4 laps to go. Schott actually ran his wheel, damaged his left front
I
wheel.
saw a picture of this. He went airborne, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He
Wow.
did. Yes, he
Wheel
did.
kind of went sideways as he was heading into turn 1.
And on the restart, Salo pulls away from Howard and the rest of the field to claim his first win of the season.
Bill likes to I'm not a WWE fan. I'm not a wrestling fan at all, period. I think it's just stupid. That's just me. Bill loves it. So he referenced WWE.
It's still real to me, man.
In the first segment. Second segment, I know what a lumberjack match is. If you look at some of the names that were in the hobby stock feature of the Tomah Sparta Speedway, would you say that this is close to a lumberjack match?
This is like Hobby Fest preview right here. You got Hobby Fest champ adding Andy Moore, opening night winner Mike Krieger Jr., 2-time winner from last year Brandon Ridner, Minnesota champion Nick Oxborough, and last year's champion Alex Rude, all towards the front in the middle of this bad boy. It's unbelievable. Moore is going to stick to the outside and take command with 4 laps to go. The next lap, Rude and Oxborough are going to tangle in turn 3, bring out the yellow, bunches everybody up together. Not going to matter. Moore is going to run away. He's going to ring that TACU victory lane bell.
There are 2 Moores at the Tomah Sparta Speedway. Listen, because I know all you folks go to the races, and some of you even race there. If you are a Matt Moore or an Andy Moore and you're racing against them and they're behind you, protect the outside line. That's how they're killing everybody.
Really?
It's
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
They're the Jake Chalmers of lacrosse.
What makes you think they can't drive by him on the inside?
They haven't done it in so long. They haven't had to. Nobody wants to protect the outside rail. I tell you, it's been awfully interesting. Mason Morphy, another newcomer about a year and a half ago, the Tomah Sparta Speedway Hornets. He's going to tango with Zach Oliver, Brian Wallace, and Paul Finch. You watch the last 2 of this one right here. He does the same thing. He tops last year's track champion Sean McCarthy by lap 11. 2 to go. He jumps to the outside and waved bye-bye to everybody else. And that will be the second win of the year for Mason Morphy. So there is a slew of Hornets out there, a lot of track champions, a lot of feature winners. Mason Morphy has really risen to the level where he needs to be.
He's going to be somewhat a contender. Well, second feature already this year. Definitely a contender already for that championship.
Almost had a first-time winner alert in the 6-shooters.
Yes, we did. Matt Heim from St. Charles, Minnesota, took the lead early on, and it looked like he was going to pull away. But, of course, you know who's coming. Matt Moore.
The 90.
Yep. Matt, and actually he had his old teammate running. Dan Fry got behind the wheel of his son Dawson's 6-shooter and actually led him, and they both actually eventually caught up to Heim. And Fry would get around him with 2 laps to go and end up pulling out to a 2-car length lead win to claim the checkered flag.
Hyman, the driver that just started, I want to say it was about midway through last year, no other prior experience. Then he hit the Winter Enduro on New Year's Day. And that guy there, watch for the white 56. So there's going to be another new contender in the 6-shooters. We had another chaos event, second over the line. I like calling second over the line races. The one we had at La Crosse wasn't as drama-filled as they normally are. You got 4 or 5 cars against each other, but this one here wasn't bad.
Well, if you remember last year, it told me he had like a 5-wide dash.
Yeah.
Not happening this week. As you see the end of this one right here, and we're looking for someone to flinch. Someone does flinch. Cheeto Hessig, he's right there. He's the man on the spot. He'll cross over second. He'll be declared the winner.
I think everybody in the front row should slam their brakes on because you're going to get contact. You're going to get pushed over the line. You're going to get 3 or 4 cars pushed over the line. Cheeto just kind of went to the inside, or to the outside, could have snuck past everybody.
Years ago when they did this with the old Thunder stocks, Paul, you remember this well, I'm sure. Leroy Harding would be trailing everybody. Everybody'd stop at the line. He'd pick somebody he didn't like and just blast him over the line. So,
I think I do, yeah.
Yeah, so that was old Leroy right there.
Of course, we taped the show earlier this week, so we didn't get a chance to get highlights of the big 6-shooter shootout. A lot of extra money was on the line Friday night. For those that are watching Thursday, that race will be tomorrow night. For those watching Friday, well, it is tonight. And those watching Saturday and Sunday,
You missed it.
we'll get the results on our Big Bore Facebook page, Seven Rivers Racing. Also, you can check it out at the Midwest Race Report radio show. Again, we had a great time this year at the Dick Trickle Memorial Project, and this was probably the best. We were up 2 years ago, and we've had a lot of chances to talk with the vintage guys, the stars from the past. And this one was just star-studded. I mean, we could have just closed our eyes and picked anybody out that we wanted to. We've got a couple more in the can for later in the race season. But Chuck Trickle was an interesting one. And we had him on the radio show a couple of months ago and really didn't get a chance to open up to him as much as we wanted to because we had Chris on as well. But Chuck is an interesting former race car driver of not too long ago.
Yeah, someone who didn't want to race, but then got into racing and got good at it. And then, then he passed all of his knowledge on to Chris, who has 120 feature wins already, and he's
and then he won at Golden Sands in the Dick Trickle car, so chalk that one up.
And I see Rich Bickle just won in the Dick Trickle kart slinger.
Bickle qualified fastest, and then Chris Trickle goes back home to Vegas, and he's on iSims Racing or iRacing, and he wins a truck race. So does it count?
The kid's got talent. We'll call it bloodline. We know what's going on. We'll call it bloodline. But this Chuck Trickle interview, it was the first time we actually got to sit down and talk to him without a phone line between us. So looking forward to playing this for you here in the next segment.
That's coming up next on KQEG TV.
Would you like a job making people happy? Well, I believe we can help you out. Big Bore Barbecue and Catering has openings for both full and part-time work. Days, nights, or weekends. Need to be free on weekends or need to be done by the time the kids get out of school? We can work with that. We need hardworking, energetic people who love to make people happy because our food makes everybody happy. Join the team at Big Bore Barbecue, Highway 16, West Salem. Now that's a mouthful.
Big Bore Barbecue.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that really actually matter. Like figuring out which remote turns the TV on, or the smell in the vegetable crisper that in no way can be vegetables, or finding your phone when you leave it on vibrate. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Welcome back one more time, race fans, the voice, the doc, and the guy in the middle. This is KQEG TV's Seven Rivers Racing on the air for the 11th straight year. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Dick Trickle Memorial dedication and Chuck Trickle. And, it was one of those kind of interviews where I'm so intrigued by Dick Trickle's brother. I could have asked him 1,000 questions. And between you and I drilling this guy, I left a lot out there.
Yeah, he had some stories, and he was more than willing to share them with us. And here's what Chuck Trickle had to say at the Dick Trickle Memorial Project.
Gentleman sitting with us now. We had him on the radio show here a couple of weeks ago, and could not wait to get him on the TV program. Of course, we've already talked to several that we know what it means to them, the Refners and Marzofkins and whatnot, to have this where we are right now. Chuck Trickle, of course, Dick's brother. This has to have an extra special meaning for you.
Let me tell you what these guys have done up here. The first time I drove all the way here, I came up here and I stopped here and I seen this and I got tears in my eyes. I mean, I don't know what it was, but these guys put this package together, Marv and Tom. But I was very lucky because I'm about 3 to 4 years younger than those guys. So I was the little guy watching these guys and the fun they had and the things they did. I don't want to tell them all what they did, but this was a fabulous thing and all the other people that have put it on, and I don't know all their names, but what a fabulous situation here.
Tell you, when we were here for the unveiling 2 years ago, it was cold and windy, and it was just miserable. And I kept looking out into the parking lot, and I couldn't believe this whole area. Nobody was going anywhere. You didn't need to have an umbrella. Once they were here, and once the unveiling happened, they were not going to leave. And even with the dedication today, I feel it's going to be the same thing.
You know what? I'm from Las Vegas. Been there 51 years. Not that I wanted to live there, but the weather is easy. You don't get nothing. You get a little hot, but it's easy to take off clothes and just put them on sometimes. But I'm sitting here and I'm watching everybody laugh, drinking a beer, and having fun, and it's miserable. I mean, my feet were, it was 2 inches of water I'm standing in, and it was, I says, in Las Vegas, if the wind would blow right now, oh, I'm going home. I can't take this. I mean, they're so spoiled by the weather, you know.
Right.
So spoiled. And it just amazed me what the people, they were just happy.
I gotta know, Chuck. Did you ever get the chance to race against your brother?
You just totally read my mind. Wow, that was weird.
Let me tell you a short story.
Here we go.
But the guy Dave Bean out of Westby. There you go.
And Dexter's father.
Yeah, right. Yeah, good people. He says Dexter came to Vegas and I let him run one of my cars, and then I came here and I went to Slinger with Dick. It was a joke. How do they drive that track and not hit the wall every time? And my old mind. First of all, I think I was 2004. I was 60 years old, and I what's his name gave us tires and the whole works. So I get out there and I had a good car, but I didn't know what to do. It was hard when you're older. You don't grasp as much. So I'm behind these guys. I'll follow these guys. Well, I follow these 4 guys, and the first one crashed, and you got 1 millisecond to change your ways, right? Yep. I crashed. So then I said, Dick, I need a car. I want to race this race. And Dick was there also, you know. And anyway, so he gave me Al Schill's car. Well, I'm a big boy. Al's half my size. So I turned the steering wheel around the other way. I put the pedals further down. I mean, there was no way I could do it. And I went out for the hot laps, and the pedal went to the ground, and I pulled in the pits, and I says, you know what, I'm a duck out of water. I need to get out of this car. So I did it. But I started next to Matt Kenseth. So Dick was in the race also.
Wow, nice memory there.
Yeah, beautiful with him, you know. And then we signed autographs afterwards, and it was, I got to sign autographs with Dick, and you know, he's so easy. I lived with him. I was lucky from when I was born till when he passed. I lived with him the first 20 years, and what you see now, what you've seen Dick before he passed, when he was young, same guy.
You know, and we've talked about that with guests in the program before. I mean, I worked with Dick for, I don't know what it was, maybe 10 straight years at Oktoberfest. Every Sunday we had our little thing that we did for Fan Photo, and even when we saw him Saturday night. He's the kind of guy that always had the same smile, the same personality, had a beer, had a cigarette. You never saw him in a negative light. I've never seen him in an argument. I mean, obviously outside of racing, but
don't forget the cup of coffee.
The cup of coffee on Sunday mornings, even when it was raining. Yeah. He had the biggest personality. Yeah. It was amazing. And if you look at race car drivers nowadays that are in that kind of limelight, you don't see that.
No, and he was just the same like this every day. Every day. I mean, it was amazing what he could the way he would do things. And I just and growing up behind him, I had an older brother, one older than Dick, and then me and 2 little sisters. So I came along, and my mother wanted a girl, so they let my hair go long, and she made my 2 older brothers take care of me. I never went anywhere without Dick or Dwayne holding my hand, and they spoiled me. My mother spoiled me, and then you get Marv. I go deer hunting with him, and he would put me here, so I would make sure I get the deer. Then he bought me knives, and everybody was spoiled me because I was Dick's brother or something, I guess. And then I married my wife of 57 years. We've been married.
Congrats.
Yeah, she's a Fitzgerald from here, and she kept me for some reason. I don't know why, but she babied me. I said, God, you know, I got to start taking things myself, but she's still with me, so.
Wow, outstanding. I think where are we at, Jesse? Are we just about 2 minutes? Give us your biggest memory of being a Dick Trickle fan, maybe a race that you were sitting either in the pits or the grandstands, something that just hits you right off the bat.
You know, watching him go to the front, now that I got in racing, how he got his car to come off the corner so fast. I didn't understand this until I got in racing, and how he got the car to come off the corner so fast. But my other memory was, I thought my older brother was going to hurt him, right? When he got out of the hospital, with his hip broken.
Right.
He had a cast all the way down there, all the way across here, down to this top of this knee. And the doctor says, we can't do nothing. Take him home. 6 months he was in Madison by himself at 11 years old. Wow. He was he told me that was a part of his life. So anyway, so they get home. What do? Get the saw and cut the damn. I'm sitting there, I'm a little 8-year-old, 7-year-old, and I thought he was going to cut his leg off because I knew he was hurt, And they took that saw and they got it off. And you know what? I'll bet you within, it wasn't any time. He's off running.
Wow.
Unreal.
Doctor said he'll never walk again. That was one of the memories, that really, when you're young, they got that saw in his leg, and I said, wow.
Well, again, Chuck Trickle is Dick's brother, and I know is a very honored to be here amongst all these people, all the memorial people and the board of directors and all the fans that are going to be here to get the official dedication underway. I greatly appreciate you coming by, and I know there's a lot of people you're going to be wanting to talk to, but welcome back to Rudolph.
I'm happy to be back here, and I got a son. We've adopted him, and I had him when he was at 5 years old. I bought him a go-kart. The time he was 13, we raced about 400 races, 50 races. We went to California, Utah, Las Vegas. He won like 124 of those races. My crew chief used to look at me and say, he'd shake his head. How does he do it? He'll be up here next, and I'm pretty proud of that young man.
We'll call it bloodline.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
All of us have won. It was, I never wanted to race. But, I got in and I did well. I don't know how. Dick didn't help me too much, but yeah, when you're out there in Vegas, it's a different world, But thanks for having me, guys.
Well, that was an outstanding interview. Thanks for Chuck joining us on there, and very emotional, especially when you and I kind of looked up. And because I made a joke of it at first, because if you've seen the Dick Trickle statue, he's looking down, and Dick always made fun of me for being so tall, and I'm older than you, I'm a better race car driver, I should never have to look up to you, ha, ha, ha. Smoked a cigarette and drink coffee. But it was different as we were sitting down there, because Chuck said one of the first times in his lifetime he was actually looking down on him, and he said, I could feel it. And he said, it wasn't just like this towering statue staring at me. He said, that was my brother staring at me doing this interview.
Yeah, the emotions were pretty raw right there, and it was a really cool interview. Chuck, like I said in the last segment, it's the first time we've actually got face-to-face with Chuck without a phone line between us. So it was great to sit down, have a conversation, some memories about his racing and about him racing with Dick. So it was a really cool interview. Please go back on YouTube when we catalog this and watch this one again. It was a really good one.
And it's you can find us on Facebook, Seven Rivers Racing, brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue. You can also find the YouTube page. All of our shows dating all the way back to the day with myself and Al Losi. If you got some time to spend.
There's even some Rob Butterfield episodes, I do believe.
Yeah, we go way back.
Yes, we do.
We go way back. Check those out, and thanks for supporting us. Thanks for supporting our sponsors. Until next week, support your local short tracks. For that guy Bill and that guy Paul and myself Dan, we are appreciative of you being here on Seven Rivers Racing.
You've been watching Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV with Dan the Voice Striker, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul the Statman Riker. Brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16 West Salem. Big Boar Barbecue. Now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist, serving the La Crosse area since 1929. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning. Thanks for watching Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV.
Would you like a job making people happy? Well, I believe we can help you out. Big Boar Barbecue and Catering has openings for both full and part-time work. Days, nights, or weekends. Need to be free on weekends or need to be done by the time the kids get out of school? We can work with that. We need hard-working, energetic people who love to make people happy because our food makes everybody happy. Join the team at Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16 West Salem. Now that's a mouthful.
Big Boar Barbecue.